Hi, Kim West, the Sleep Lady, and in today's video blog, I'm going to answer Jessica's question. Here's what she emailed in. Hello, Kim. My son Mason is 20 months old, and I can count on my two hands the number of nights that he's slept through the night. We follow a pretty consistent bedtime routine between 6:30 and 6:50. We begin the routine by reading a book, then bath, and then after bath it's diaper, lotion, and then he breastfeeds, and then into his jammies, snuggle for a minute, and then I put him down awake and say, Mommy and Daddy love you, night-night. And then we leave the room. He has no problem falling asleep and does so without crying or fussing. He is usually asleep by 7:30, 7:45. Our problem is that he wakes up after 2 hours crying, and he won't go back to sleep without one of us coming into the room, breastfeeding him, rubbing his back, or holding him. When he wakes like this, he's usually up for 2 or 3 more times during the night as well. My husband and I are so tired. Can you please help us, Jessica? Okay, you gave me a lot of helpful information, Jessica. So a couple things. Of course, it goes without saying that I want to make sure that he's well napped so that he's having at least one good nap a day. Sounds like his bedtime is at an appropriate time. Not sure how you get him to sleep for naps, but I would do whatever works for now. And then I would focus on bedtime. And believe it or not, I know this sounds like I'm being a stickler here. I want you to change the order of the bedtime routine, just in case he's not awake enough to fully get the skill of putting himself to sleep. Because if you notice, he sort of needs the things or during the night when he wakes that he gets at bedtime. That breastfeeding, rubbing his back, and holding him. Because remember you said I breastfeed him and then a little snuggle, a holding time. I don't know whether there's rubbing of his back during that time and then into the bed. So remember, bedtime is your easiest time to learn to put yourself to sleep. And if your child does not have that mastered completely there, he won't be able to apply it in the middle of the night after a 2-hour quote nap, or what feels like a nap to him. Okay, and that becomes only more and more difficult throughout the night as he gets more and more sleep, even though it's fragmented. So again, I would go back. I would do something like bath, breastfeed, book, and then bed. So if you're going to have a snuggle time after book, I would have lights on, where we snuggle and really make sure that it's just a minute or less. Kisses, I love you, sweetie pie, turn off the light and into the crib. And if he cries at that point, I don't want you to say, oh my gosh, now the sleep lady ruined bedtime for us. I want you to say, aha, so he really wasn't awake enough and we need to redo this, and I can stay with him and help him while he learns. So you can either redo the shuffle at bedtime, or if he really doesn't protest, then go ahead and leave. But I want you to have a backup plan because I really do want him to be put down more awake than he normally is, just to make sure, because I promise you this is often one of those tiny little tweaks that makes all the difference in the world. Okay, and then of course you're going to make your nighttime weaning plan, decide if you want to continue to breastfeed him during the night, and if so, then pick the one time, probably a set time feeding, like first wakening after midnight. I'm just making that up as an example. You choose the time, and then no time before and after, and maybe your husband can go in during those times. If you find that when you do breastfeed him, he barely eats, then I would just go ahead and wean as long as you're comfortable with that and your pediatrician's comfortable with that. And I might even ask Dad, please, would you go in and do the sleep coaching for the first few nights? Just because, again, Mason doesn't know the difference, or does know the difference that Daddy can't nurse him. So he may initially protest more when Dad walks in because now he knows he's not going to get what he wants. But just, it will really help take out that power struggle around the nursing. And then be consistent with all of the night wakenings and make it till 6 a.m. And within 7 to 10 nights, he should be solidly sleeping through the night. All right, I hope that helps.